President Trump unleashing a xenophobic tirade against Minnesota's Somali community.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. When they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country.
Those are the words of the President of the United States. And this is action. ICE will be heading to Minneapolis and St. Paul in Minnesota. Why? To target Somali immigrants. Now, over what exactly?
Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars. Billions. Every year. Billions of dollars. And they contribute nothing.
I think what he means to say is that there were defendants who had due process, some of whom were also Somali, who were convicted of crimes. But maybe shorthand was effective for the president. You can take issue with the president's language. But what he's pointing to here are investigations into fraud in Minnesota. There were allegations across the country by a number of people. There was a whole division at DOJ, really, about COVID fraud. Investigations prosecutors amount to $1 billion in stolen taxpayer money. Can you imagine? Investigations like one into Feeding Our Future, which was a COVID-19 program that was meant to feed needy children. And prosecutors allege a staggering $300 million did not go to feeding children. Instead, they say it went to luxury vehicles. It went to real estate. It went to international travel. And CNN reports about 70 people were charged, the vast majority of which are members of the state's Somali community. The mayor of St. Paul, Minnesota, Melvin Carter, he joins me now. Mayor, you've undoubtedly heard about these fraudulent operations because there were criminal prosecutions. That's how we know about this, the public record. You undoubtedly know about the expansive Somali community as well in Minnesota. How do you respond to the president's comments here about the Somali people who have migrated to Minnesota?
Well, the president, thanks for having me on. The president failed so many fourth grade social studies lessons tonight. It's just laughable. First of all, it's easy to say he didn't just target our Somali community. He targeted our Somali American community. It's important to note that most of our Somali American community has been here for generations. The overwhelming majority of them are citizens. So when he says their country is the United States of America. For the vast majority of them, the only country they have ever known, the only country they've ever been a citizen of is the United States of America. And for the president of the United States to say that Americans don't belong in America, that he doesn't like Americans being in America, is one of the greatest confessions of incompetence that a sitting president could ever make. Our Somali community makes incredible contributions to our country and to our state and to our communities right here. And by the way, those fraud allegations were uncovered by local law enforcement and our state attorney general pressed charges. Our state law enforcement presence is what caught that, is what held those folks accountable. So it's another example that we actually don't need. Those federal agents are not adding value in our community. They're actually doing quite the opposite by providing a destabilizing force.
And yet, CNN has learned that ICE is set to start operations in Minnesota, targeting specifically undocumented Somali immigrants. Border Czar Tom Homan actually said this tonight, Mayor. Listen.
I can't tell you how many people are on the ground now, how many people are going to be on the ground. I'll leave that to the Secretary of Homeland Security, but focuses on those twin cities more because of the criminal activities been uncovered by DOJ and DHS.
You're the mayor of a major city. Were you given any advance notice? Do you have any further details about what might be coming?
Well, of course not. I mean, we started hearing rumors about this morning, and we have to track. I mean, this is where we are in America. We have to try to track on Twitter. We have to try to track on neighborhood chat boards. We have to try to track through the media what the federal government is trying to do in our local communities. They show up and create just like I said, a destabilizing presence. They don't seem to really know what they're doing when they create big crowds and things like that. They intentionally seem to be trying to create confusion and create chaos in communities so they can use that. To escalate against crowds, we had them show up in our community a couple of weeks ago and created a big crowd, and they ran over people's toes and maced the crowd to get out,
Mm.
and told us at the end they arrested 14 people, Laura, of whom one of them they said had a past charge for something. And they know the difference between a charge and a conviction, as you talked about, sort of the language that we use. So they did all of that. In the name of arresting 14 people who were just trying to go to work that day, who didn't have any convictions, as far if you believe them. And so, this all of this public safety language, all this accepting, all this "we're going to keep you safe" language counts on me and you to believe that somebody is a danger to our communities just by virtue of looking different than we are and maybe speaking a different language. And St. Paul, Minnesotans, we don't go for that.
And yet I know that you believe in law and order. You're the son of a police officer. You're a mayor of St. Paul. And so you recognize, of course, the charges, the allegations, and how serious they were to have certain individuals, not an entire community, which we profile, because if we did that, then surely there'd be many populations of people who would no longer be quote unquote welcome in their own country.
That's right.
Profiling is problematic. But beyond the president's rhetoric, the administration has been seizing on those recent fraud scandals in Minnesota. The prosecutors say that more than $1 billion in taxpayer money has been stolen amid these three investigations, including those children's nutrition programs that I mentioned. Do you think Minnesota officials should be taken to task for allowing or not realizing, is probably the better phrase, that it was happening?
Like I said, and it's important that you said what you said. That's right. Those are really serious allegations, and that's terrible. The folks who did that, that's terrible. They have to be held account. They have to be held to account. I'm really afraid to find out what the president's going to do when he finds out how much fraud European Americans are responsible for in this country. Hopefully, he won't try to take that out on all European Americans, including, by the way, the supposed mastermind of that feeding our future scandal, who was actually the centerpiece of that, who was not Somali American. And so, yes, those are serious things. Yes, like I said, our state law enforcement infrastructure is what caught those things, is what prosecuted those crimes, and is what held those folks to account. This notion that we're going to take a whole nation and declare a whole nation of people guilty for crimes that a couple of individuals did, that's astoundingly un-American. It's a fallacy of logic and a fallacy of justice. And like I said, we get a chance to go to work every day. We have Somali American members of our community who are doctors and who are dentists and who are teachers and who are healthcare providers, and who are business owners, and do a whole bunch of things. I sure would love to see the president get to know who our Somali American community is a little bit better, starting with understanding that they are Somali Americans, they are American citizens, and his job is to help ensure their quality of life, their access to life, liberty, and happiness, just along the rest of us.
Mayor Melvin Carter, thank you for joining.